quick review of where we were the last time we were on page RASHASH. Actually, we went a little bit further. But I want to take an approach to this to try to understand better what we're trying to accomplish here. What he apparently did was he's going to take the first part of the Matbea Bracha, and then he's going to start talking about different things. I'm not sure exactly what he's talking about, so maybe we can figure it out. And the RASHASH is a meditation. So basically, we need to look at what he actually puts on the page. The problem is understanding his language when he gives instructions, and we're going to work on that. But at the same time, let's look at page Resh Chet Tzaddik and just see what he says. When we say the word Baruch, it's a generation of light, and all that we all we see down here is the flow of light from the cold summer. So what we see here, first of all, is start out, when you say the word Baruch, when you say the word Baruch, as I said, different things happen. It leads us into a zivug panimi, which he shows it to us like that. And he said that the zivug panimi refers to the Chabad. So it's somewhere there's a yichud taking place there. And then you have a zivug chitzon, and that takes place, and we can understand this in terms of the wrapping of Spheros. It takes place at the level of the Nai v'chagat, which means this is Katniss. It's talking about Katniss. Nai v'chatas, and it continuously wants to talk about the Chagat, the Atik. So then it's supposed to, Chagat, but this is the Chagat of Atik. So you have two things that get generated right away as a result of your saying Baruch. And then it continues to flow. The light is flowing down, and it flows into the area of Erik Anpin. And once again, you have a Yichud Panimi and a Yichud Chitzon. The Zivug Panimi, he says, is called the Chabad, and the Chitzon is called the Nai v'Chagat. That we can understand the Chabad Chagat Nai. This is that which is affected. But once again, it's from the Chagat, and again, that middle parts of Erik Anpin. Now, in bold print, he says, Yekabin l'chamshech shefer mezivug penibi the Chabad. That's the first thing we're going to do here. And so let's just look at the meditation here. The meditation is that the mochin, these are the pictures of the mochin on the right side of the mochin dema. And on the left side, and as Rabbi Mimran pointed out, it's really difficult to understand exactly why it doesn't have four. Should be kasa, kama, kona, but instead he writes just these, like it's an abbreviation. I'm not sure. That's what Rabbi Mimran said. He thought it's implied. There's a lot of things. There are things missing in these notes. So on the left side, and when it comes to Ben, later on he's going to explain to us that the akias are levushim. So here you have on the left side, you have just kasa, and then you had kamug. Let me read this part down here below because I really don't understand why it comes into this name. It said lifnim is liponim, and where is all this light that we're bringing down now, which are the mochin, basically, and their levushim? Where are they going to? They're going to the ponim of the malchius, the chochmas, the huv, the chug, the zivug, elyon, the abba v'yasas. Now, this is a really difficult phrase. So it's going to the bottom part of all the chochmos that are found in chochma and bina and in the mochin. All the chochmas of the mochin. It means the mochin it has a chub and a hug. So those are the mochin. Those are the mochin. The chochmos, the chub and the hug, the zivug elyon, the abba v'yasas. Now I have to say that I really don't understand when he says the chochmos of the chub and the hug. So we understand the Chochma Bina, those are the name of the Mochin. So he says, but he's saying that in each one of them, if we took Chochma, for example, there would be a Chochma. If we took a Bina in that, there would be a Chochma, the Binos, and then so forth with the Chug itself. And this is the Yichud Elyon, the Abba V'Yasos, and it looks like that, I guess. That's what he says, Abba V'Yasos. And then he said that on the left side, that's the right side, and these are the Mochen and the Ma. And this really, these other two, we're going to get to the Kasa and the Kamag, they're going to be Levushim. So he says this, I think, this is going to be Leponim, the Malchus, the Chochmas, the Chub. So we had the same thing, all the Chochmas of the Mochin. So he's telling me that the Mochin, what? The Mochin have 10 spheros, each one of them, Elyon, the Ima, Tzavuna. Now, I wanted to bring the little blue book. I have it, I can leave it at the shul. So I wanted to take the little blue book, because in the little blue book, he just has a little drawing there, which he says is the very first drawing, is a picture of the Tzadi, the Tzalim. And over there, he's telling me I have to bring it, so that it's to remember to bring it back to here, is that the Tzadi, the Tzalim actually is divided into 10 parts. So before I was concentrating on what the Tzalim means. But it turns out that the Tzadi actually has 10 parts too. It makes sense. It's a part that's going in. Let's go look at the next page, the page in Reish Tzadi Tes, and over on the right side, first of all, we could take the middle. The middle is a Yichud Panimi. So this was the Yichud Panimi, and he mentioned before, we're going to look at the Yichud Panimi first, and there's going to also be a Yichud Chitzon. So he says, on the right side, it's the Mochin of Ma, and that's what they are. And then on the left side is going to be the Levushim, which are going to be Kasa and Kamag. Now, they all flow down into this Shilav, not this Shilav, excuse me, into this drawing here. Now, I didn't add it up. I think it's 232, like it's Ralev, but I'm not sure, because he didn't write it here. He writes it other places. So if we look at it, just take this little thing he put together, and once again, this is like a meditation. If you could get to the ikar of what's going on, it would really be helpful. So he shows us an aleph. So he's going to spell out aleph K Yud K like this. Now, what is it? Just looking at it in general, aleph and K, he has a double K, then he has a Yud, and then he has another double K. So it's not exactly the milui of the whole thing, because the Yud is not spelled out any further. It's not doubled. So let's look and see what he has. The Aleph. First of all, the Aleph represents usually Gevura, or that in that drawing where it's Yud, Vav, Daled. And then it goes to the Aleph. Then it shows you 1, 2, 3 different types of haze. And then the next one is, again, a repeat of the same thing. That's Daled Yud, Daled Vav, and Vav, Vav, Vav. All of those make A's. Back down to the Yud again. But here we have the Yud. The Yud is composed of the Daled. Inside of the Daled, he has a double Daled Vav, double Vav. Over here, then it goes to the next Hey, which is a Daled Yud, a Daled over Vav, and then 3 Vavs. And then he finishes out the same way like this. Now, look at the idea here is that something's going on here, but I only can check and see what's on the page and how the page lays out. Now, after that, he goes into it. It's kind of like let's see. I was going to say that was a duplicate. It's not. So then he says, Yekavin lahamshech shafim bezivuk chitzon. So we're going to take the yichud that takes place there. And what does he show me? First, he shows me the yichud, which is the yichud chitzon, where the yud is on the outside. Let's pull this up a little bit. There we go. Where the yud is on the outside, and that's that shulaf. And he says the first thing on the right side he shows you is chachma. This is the or of chachma. So we're always, we have the phrase called sama, but the fact is that they really goes backwards. It starts out with the or, and then it starts going into the levushim. Now, look what he did here, and I'm not sure what it Well, let's see. Let's look what he did. So he took the Nikudim of Chachma, and he took on the right side, and the Nikudim of Bina on the left side, and they refer to the Oros that are coming from Chachma and Bina. And then he shows us Mab. Now, so implanted in this Schizonius is the Mab. Now, if you don't mind, I just speculate on things. I don't know why he does these things or why this is like in the form that it is, but the form is fairly straightforward and we can look at it. Is you have a Pashut and a Mali and a Mali the Mali on the right side. And then the Luvush is really a duplicate. But there's one thing here that I don't understand, and I'd like to try to find out what's obviously what's going on here. Is he has just the milui of Av. And on the left side, he has the milui of Sag. So we know that Sag goes with Ben, and we know that Av goes with Chochma, or Ma. And then he comes and he does it again. He shows just, but this one is in the middle. So it's Menukad with Das. So in each of these three, exactly what it means, I don't know. So each of these three, he has a Mab, he has the Oros, then he has the Mab, and then he has he has just the milui of Av and the milui of Sag. And then there's a repeat of it. Then he does it again. He shows us the Oros, the Pashat, but this is the Oros and the Pashat of Ma. So Ma, so we have the Mab of Av, the Mab of Sag, and we have the Mab of Ma. So those three, all of which will come out to be exactly 42, and once again he shows us the milui. So I don't have a definition of what the milui adds to this. I don't have it. So now let's go to the next page, and we're just really studying the drawings and how the drawings fit in for us. We say the magic word Ata, so we went Baruch Ata, and you brought in the Panemius, and you brought in the Chitzonius, and you showed it how it went, and it comes down to the ultimate, which delivery is the Mab plus the Milui. Once again, let me see, is there something about the Milui that goes gematria-wise? The Milui is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 letters. So I don't know, that makes a number 48, but that doesn't do anything to me. So he says the Ata, Zivug Elyon, so he shows you this Yichud, which is a Yichud Benimi the Abba Ve'iba Ve'yasos. So we move down from what is it called? From Atik and Arich. Now we're in, you say the word Abba, then you're coming to a different level. This light is continuously to flow. He says, Yekavin Lachamshach Misod the Zivug Benimi. So let's understand that the Zivug Benimi, he said, in the Yisod. There's a Yisod over here. That takes place in the Chabad and Nizkar, the Abba V'Yasos. And he says, what's going to come down here is the tipus of the Asmab im Chamesh Chasadim. Let's just look at it quickly. So he says here we have the Asmab. He shows you Asmab. So, a zivug chitzon, he says what? A zivug elyon tikkun penimi, and then he shows us the mochim that flow as a result of that, which is asmab, along with the middle line, but he's not showing us as das, he's showing the content of das, which is 5 chasadim. Which is Keser, not Keser, Chesed, Gevurah, Tiferes, Netzach, and Hod. Where is it going to go? It's going to the Yesod, Pinimi, the Ima, V'Zvuna, Shebo, Kasa, Kamag, and Kana. So we understand that Ima, he says in other places that this is a Lavush. So these Oros are going into this Lavush, which is Kasa, Kamag, and Kana. Now he has all three. So why didn't he have all three before? Don't know. So Yikavan Lachamshach Mi Yisod and Nizkar, the Ima V'Tevuna, so now we have a combo. We have apparently, they're combined. They're combined in the sense as we're making a Yichud. And he says that the Ima v'Tavuna together, Kol HaSheva Shemos, V'Chachamish Chasadim, the Malchus, the Ima, where is it going to go? It's going to go to the Malchus, the Ima, to the Vuna, Shehi Chagat, U'Ba Chamesha Gevuros. So let's look what we have here. We have Av on the right side, then underneath it we have Ma, then underneath of that we have a Lavush, which is Kasa. On the left side we have Sag, we have Ben, and we have then the Lavush, which is going to be Kamag. And then at the end, he also shows us in the middle, he shows us the, I'm blanking on this word, I can't get it out. The Lavush of Kana. All of this is coming downwards. The Chemish include within it 5 Chasadim. Moving on to the next page, we see that we have once again Chamesha Gevuros. Those are also coming. In other words, Das. He shows us the concept of the content of Das, and then the Das is going to be Meluvish in the Kasa and the Kamag and the Kone. So that's going to be what we're going to see. So once again, and the idea is, I think that if we had time, which we never do, because like I now in my advanced old age, I'm living in a community of very young people by and large. I say young people, young marrieds, and they can race through this davening, and they want to. They want to get done at a certain time, and they probably do that at Talmudic U too. I don't really remember. So the Ashkenaz davening is like a race from the beginning to the end, and there's no chance to be able to do anything like this in these, in the davening that we see there. But it's here. Here it is. So he says, now that you see that you have the Chasadim and then you have the Lavush, the Gevuros, and then you have the Lavush, then he comes into the same formation again. He comes in Yekaveh Lahamshek Mab Da'av, so we want to do that. Umeluyev, it doesn't explain why we're bringing the Milui. I know the Milui would be the most chitzon. I think it would be the most chitzon part of the flow of the light. But at any rate, it's a regular mob plus the milui. So what does the milui do? Is it a lavush, further lavush, or am I missing something that's simple? Simple here, excuse me. Okay. Okay. Yekaveh lahamshek mab da'av umeluyav im nachi. That is the 3 upper lights, the Chaya, the Ruach, the Ruach. Oh, that's a tough place. The Nechi, which is the very top part of the Oros. The Chaya, which is the top, Makif. The Ruach. In another place, we saw that he says that the secret of this word, and this is what we want to, one of the things I need to look at, where it says the Ruach, he says the Ruach, which is Chagat, the Ruach, and in another place he said this refers to Ima, because in relationship to Abba, that's what I saw him say is Ima is like a Ruach. So then here we go again. It shows us the lights, and then he shows us the Mab plus the Milui. So what is the Mab? The Mab is the Mab of Av, once again. And he says, let's look at the thing on the side. He says, as we know already, that the Pashut is Keser. The Av is Chachma. And then the Milui is Bina. Then we come back down a little again, and he shows us the name Yud-Kei Vav-Kei in the Shilov with Adni, the way it's supposed to be. Let's see what these words are that he's using here. Leponim the Tesha Sefiras, the Kochov, the Chacham, the Chagat, V'nai, the Chagat. Wow, this is, the Ma'u Ben, the Ma, the Zun. So let's try to just analyze this, and this is why I hope that we're going to be able to find some answers on his language. So it's going to the face side. What did he say this originally? This is... okay, I remember we're talking about the Yichud Chitzon, or this is Yichud Panimi, I think. Leponim the Tesha Spheres the Kochov. The Kochov. First question is why do we have 9 spheros instead of 10? So he said the 9 spheros of Kochov. So that's upper 9 spheros of Kochov. The Tesha spheres the Kochov of the right line of the middle parts of the Chagat V'nai, which would be the Chitzonius, the Chagat. I'll read it again. To the right line of the Chagat V'nai, which is the 2 outer partsufim, which is the Katnus, the Chagat. So it means the Chagat also has a Chabad. So if you said it's said like that, just to understand, it's only focusing on the Chagat Nanai. A Dema U Ben Dema. Now, this is a little bit harder for me, the Ma'u Ben Dema, because it's working on both the right side and on the left side, the Zun. So this is a Yichud. Oh, gotta go. That was the shear there today. So this is Yasaba Baruch Flashman here with the Tikkun Elevator Kollel. Hope you can enjoy this and get some idea of what's going on here.